a gentleman. He was our RA, resident assistant on our hall, named Steve Hammond, and he started discipling me and
Is
a
that
couple of other guys.
Steve Hemphill?
Yeah, Stephen Hammond. He's a pastor in Dallas, and right now. But back then we were all in school together, and he started discipling me and three other African American athletes, and then he took us to a conference called Impact, and it was a conference that was organized by Campus Crusade for Christ under the leadership of Bill Bright, who started it years ago. And I learned discipleship. And discipleship is very important to the especially the modern day Christian. I believe a lot of people make decisions for Christ. I believe that people give their lives to Christ, and they're so sincere. But in this wicked generation, this wicked world, if you don't have a person to help you go from the babyhood stage of Christianity, the childhood stage to, young adult to full grown, most of those people that we get in crusades and stuff, they're going to backslide. The devil's going to get them back. So it's very important for churches to have a strong discipleship ministry for people that are being converted to Christianity, because if not, they can give their life to Christ, but and I believe many of those people will go to heaven, but they won't live out the benefits of Christianity in this life.
Yeah, that's so true. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's a very important to have a father figure in your life. That's what you're
Yes.
saying. That can help you overcome the obstacles that in a ministry when you are brand new Christian that you face.
Yes.
Absolutely. Your faith needs to be stretched. You really got to know what you're doing. Absolutely. Because otherwise devil is sitting there and waiting for you to stumble over a thing and then make you feel like you're against God or you're a sinner, you're doing something is wrong with you. Is that correct?
Yeah. And so for instance, like we're seeing a lot of celebrities give their lives to Christ and all of that stuff, right? So like we saw Kanye West, we saw Justin Bieber. But the issue to me, and I think we've seen Kanye West kind of go back. The issue to me is those people have an experience, but they never get discipled. So there should be a spiritual parent for every Christian, and not necessarily the pastor, but somebody in that congregation who is spiritually mature, who can guide a person, especially if you're coming out of, gross lifestyles and stuff like that. If we've seen a lot of these OnlyFans girls and stuff get saved and come out of that, ex-porn people, but they need somebody. And those that have been successful, they always point to, and Susie was there, and I could call her in the middle of the night when I was feeling like going back, that kind of thing. And you need a sponsor, like AA has. You need a person to help walk you through to maturity. And I think that's one of the things that we lack in the church. I think of course, we all are saved by grace through faith, but I think the hyper grace movement basically teaches people, no matter what you do, God's gonna forgive you. And you don't have to worry about what nobody think and all that stuff. And like people out there on the island trying to make it on their own without having guidance. And so that was really the turning point in my ministry, because I started out as an evangelist, but I began to really understand that even once I evangelize these people, I got to have a plan for discipleship, right? In cooperation with the churches and so forth. And Billy Graham, he wouldn't go anywhere where churches had not been preparing for a year. They would have to prepare for at least a year before he came there, because he said the harvest would be lost. He would come, evangelize, get all these people saved, but then they wouldn't have a church to go to. They wouldn't have anybody to lead them. So That's really been the turning point in my ministry.
Wow. No, that's a very good one. I really appreciate you sharing that. And I want to go over to a next question, but I also want to ask you about your book. You released a phenomenal book, and we will talk more on that, Rapture Revelation. But before I go in that direction, I want to talk about Kingdom Church of Houston, which emphasized worship, the manifestation of God's presence, and reaching the whole person, spirit, soul, and body. How did this vision take shape, and why is so central to your leadership?